The return to certainty. Certainty as an inevitable circle. What if I told you that you were once absolutely certain? Not mostly certain. Not cautiously optimistic. Certain. As a child, the world made sense. The rules were clear. Good was good. Bad was bad. The people in charge knew what they were doing. And you knew who you were. No existential crisis. No late-night spirals. No philosophical dread. Just a seamless confidence in reality. That was your first certainty. But here's the twist. It couldn't last. Because growth is destabilizing. Education complicates. Experience contradicts. You encounter suffering. You notice hypocrisy. You see that smart people disagree. And suddenly the neat framework you inherited starts to crack. Welcome to doubt. This is the fall from grace. Not moral, but intellectual. The moment you realize that your certainty wasn't earned, it was assumed. And once that realization hits, you can't go back. You can't unknow it. The simple world of childhood dissolves. Now here's where most people stall. Some try to cling to their old certainty, doubling down, hardening beliefs, refusing to question. Others drift into permanent skepticism, suspicious of everything, trusting nothing. But neither of those paths completes the circle. Because something else happens. After enough doubt, after enough internal turbulence, many seekers report an unexpected experience. Stillness. It might come in meditation, or walking alone, or staring at a sunset after a hard year, or sitting in silence when you're simply too exhausted to keep arguing with reality. For a moment, the mental noise stops. The questions don't vanish. The world isn't solved. But the agitation subsides. You're not scrambling for answers. You're just here. That stillness. And once you've touched it, even briefly, you know something profound. Beneath belief and doubt, beneath arguments and identity, there is a quieter ground. And that realization changes everything. Because now you're not just trying to rebuild your old certainty. You're trying to understand how to live from that stillness. You start looking backward through history. You notice that others have walked this terrain before. The Buddha left his palace certainty, plunged into doubt, and discovered clarity beneath it. Philosophers dismantled assumptions only to rebuild an examined understanding. Mystics, contemplatives, disciplined thinkers, they all point toward the same arc. Certainty, doubt, stillness, return. And here's the crucial distinction. The second certainty is not the first one resurrected. The first certainty was inherited. The second is earned. The first was unconscious. The second is reflective. The first collapsed under pressure. The second has already survived collapse. That's why the return to certainty is an inevitable circle. You don't go back to childhood. You move forward into maturity. You integrate doubt instead of fearing it. You cultivate stillness instead of chasing endless explanations. And when certainty reappears, it's quieter, less defensive, less loud. It doesn't need to shout, because it has nothing to prove. You realize that doubt wasn't the enemy. It was the necessary passage. And stillness wasn't an escape. It was the foundation. The circle closes, but at a higher level. You began life certain because you didn't know enough to question. You return to certainty because you've questioned deeply enough to stand. And that's the real return to certainty. Not a straight line, but a circle. One begins in innocence, passes through fire, pauses in stillness, and ends in clarity that knows exactly why it stands.